So here we are. Welcome. This is going to be on Where Conversations Grow. My name is Seth Hannikin. I am a school teacher, realtor, and also jujitsu instructor. But more importantly, I am just like you. I'm a middle class citizen trying to survive in an overinflated world. But that's not why we're here, is to talk about politics or inflation. What we're here to talk about is how we can overcome and basically take back our thoughts and processes and thinking in today's world. Because I don't know about you, but there's just a lot of negativity. There's a lot of complaining. There's a lot of people gossiping. And I'm over it. Like, I'm ready to step this up and become something better. And this all came about from a friend sending me a Tony Robbins versus Alex Hormozi. And obviously I said versus, but it really did feel like a battling of two prolific characters, one from the past and one today. And to see someone of such like status and success be broken down and start to work on really what his passion is. And he was struggling with basically finding something that gets him up in the morning. You know, he has everything and he doesn't know what to do besides work. And I feel like it was so impactful because for everyone, that seems to be the problem, right? We all work and we live for that 1 day a year vacation, but it's like, what are we waking up every day? You know, why do we wake up every day, and why aren't we excited as we used to be? You know, and once I saw this video, it really had me go on a deep dive, right? Like, I just started reading and just consuming Tony Robbins content because I don't know if everyone else had this thinking, but I just remember him from like Shallow Hal and some different, you know, like movie things. But I never thought it was like something real because I was never seeking out. I used to think it was kind of like gimmicky, like, oh, I don't need that kind of thing. Like, I don't need motivational, or I don't need self help, or, but it's really because when I watched it, I wasn't in the right mindset to take that information in. Please forgive my coffee drinking, but it's early in the morning here on a Wednesday, and I just got this microphone, so I was pretty pumped to use it. So this might be a terrible podcast, but it's really just kind of like a test run. And obviously, the dogs will be barking from here to there. But basically, what I'm saying is, I got in this kick. I'm sharing it with everyone because I think sometimes it's hard to believe what you see on the internet or believe people saying, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And it just seems like, yeah, okay, buddy, but yeah, come back to me when you have like real life stuff going on. And that's what I am. I'm a real life person. I'm not rich. I'm not poor. I work 3 jobs just to survive here on Long Island, and it's definitely a struggle, but it's doable. And I'm starting to change my thinking. And, you know, I've even started to like get some new books. Like, I got this one, it's Manifestation of Creation. And I thought this one was at first kind of dry, but then the more I read it, and I highly suggest reading it in chunks. Don't try to sit and read all at once because I think you're just not going to get the most out of it. I do like little small chapters at a time. And what it does really well is it will make you realize what the word manifestation really is. Because when you hear people use manifestation, at least in my case, like, I've only heard it as like manifest to win the lottery. That's really like, you just see that and you're like, all right, like, I'm not wasting my money on the lottery for one. But what this book does is it really goes into detail about how that's not what the true identity of manifestation is. Like, the idea is to manifest. You can't just have a thought from the outside or view it as a viewer. You have to start internally, meaning that you have to get to a point where you're addressing those contradictions happening in your body every day because you're acting a certain way or behaving a certain way because it's a survival response. So I know a lot of people out there have, you know, trauma or, you know, different things that happened to them as they became an adult that created these basically safety nets or like survival mode instincts. And it wasn't on purpose, right? It was just to protect ourselves because we've been hurt one way or another. But what this book does is has you relook at what you're doing, like relook at why you're behaving this way. But it's not going to work if you're just like, I'm going to be positive today. Like that's the opposite. And it's funny because when I present this content to people, and that's why I started this, is people are like, oh, I'm positive all the time. It's good to have a, fake it till you make it. And that is not what this is about. Like, it's not fake it till you make it. Like, that is the exact opposite of what they're telling you to do, because that's such a surface level response that when you do decide to make a change, it's not going to happen. You're going to go back to those old behaviors, right? So, for instance, one of my favorite quotes from, Tony Robbins is, they're not triggering you, you're triggering yourself. And this is my favorite quote because it really was like reset my thinking, because like everyone today, I watch politics. I'm never really going to talk about politics on here because I think it's like a never ending circle of just circle talking and not agreeing. But from an outside perspective, if you look at it from neutral response, right, not left, it is so angry and nobody's listening to each other. And so that statement of nobody is triggering you, you're triggering yourself, just made it click. Like when you watch the news and you see people like burning stuff, or someone said this police officer shot this person, and you start to get so emotionally invested in these things. And obviously, there could be deeper things to it. Like if you are a police officer, or if you're picturing your son or daughter in that situation. And I get on both sides, it's like a horrible situation. And I really don't want to touch on it. But the idea of they're not triggering you, you're triggering yourself, is that you are in control. You allow yourself to create meaning of a situation that might not otherwise need that meaning. So for instance, if there's someone at work that drives you insane, right? Like there's that one person that just annoys you and you're like, what's wrong with them? And you just can't stand them, right? Everyone's got that person. Like it's just up, you know what, and just like bothering you. Like anything they say, it's like nails on a chalkboard. But so I use this to practice, right? When you start to realize and start to reframe your thinking of there is a certain nature to people, and if you allow yourself to not understand their nature or expect them to be in a manner that's not them, you're always going to get irritated, right? And what I mean by that, if there's someone that is like, high strung or anxious all the time, and you're getting upset with them because of the way they're behaving, you're trying to manage something that's not manageable, right? That's not in your control. You can't manage other people, right? You can. Once you're managing, it becomes stressful. Again, a lot of this stuff is from me watching Tony Robbins, so I don't want people to think that I'm just stealing stuff. It's just me thinking about these things and like thinking out loud. I'm not here to preach or like start a seminar. That's never going to be a thing. I'm just coming from a real middle class perspective, and that whole idea of not managing your life, right? Like not managing everyone around you, not managing you, is really such a key to finding true inner peace. And what I mean by that is, one of the big things too that stuck with me is managing things really takes the passion and purpose out of life. So when you're wandering around and just like trying to manage the people around you, or trying to manage people at work, or trying to manage your spouse, like it just becomes a job. And anybody knows, like when something becomes a job and tedious, you're going to resent it. And then you're going to be waiting for, the Friday feels, right? You're like, it's Friday, you're excited, and you're just ready to start your day. But imagine, I like think this all the time, especially being a teacher, right? Everyone's like 2 more days, 1 more day. And in my head, I'm like, 1 more day to what? Like you're going to get to Friday. Like I get it. Like you want a break. You're excited for Friday. You're excited for those things. But it's like, if you're only living for Saturday and Sunday, and most times it's not even Sunday because you get the Sunday scaries, right? And you got to go grocery shopping. You got to get ready, especially people with kids. And I don't even have kids yet, hopefully one day. But Sunday's really stressful because you're just trying to prepare everything for the week. So, and maybe my perspective changed becoming a realtor because there is no such thing as a Friday to Sunday. Like that's when we work. So during the week, I'm teaching. During the weekend, I'm doing real estate stuff. And during the week, I'm doing real estate stuff because it never stops. Like you're always making phone calls. You're reaching out. You're lead generating. Like it is a true grind. And I think that's how I even got to this point where it's here in front of you. And it's amazing because the one secret thing that's not really secret is when you have to like make your own money, make your own leads, you can't be burned out. Like you don't have an option to be burned out. Like there are people that are full-time realtors and I have so much respect for them. I'm not there yet and maybe one day I will. Every decision in their day and their week, they don't have that option to be like, oh, I'm waiting for Friday. Like if you're not reaching out and building a sphere and doing something that is in a progressive forward motion, you're going to fail. Like, and I think that's something I was missing because I am in a traditional salary job. And again, I'm not saying that, teachers aren't as much of a hustler as realtor. I think that they have so much on their plate and their basically potential salary is so incremental. So you could work 1,000% harder. You could like grow and do all these things. But the difference between being a teacher and as a realtor is your salary only changes by a small percent. Honestly, unless you go back to school or something, which is more debt, which nobody wants, right? But so I think that's where a lot of teachers just feel like they can't catch up because it's a rigorous job. Like you are planning, you are dealing with behaviors, you're working with parents, and it is a constant grind. I mean, if you guys saw the inner workings of a school that goes on just to get anything done, and a lot of times parents get frustrated with teachers, but you don't realize like we're fighting for your kids all the time. Like we, at least the teachers I'm around, like they truly want what's best for the students. And a lot of times they put themselves on the back burner. These teachers come in early, they stay late, they're bringing their stuff home. And a lot of times it's a thankless job because parents get frustrated with us because they want all these things for their children. And it's not that we don't want them, right? We have to fight for everything nowadays, especially with like budget cuts and resource and inflation. The schools are feeling it. And, and I get people are feeling it and it creates this like conflict between the community and schools because they're stressed too. Listen, we're all in a point of, where we feel like we can't afford anything, right? Like everything's expensive. Buying a home is extremely stressful and seems like unreachable for, my generation. Like, and it's hard. Like I used to make videos like, oh, buy a home. It's the best decision you've ever made and blah, blah, blah. And just try to like advertise. And I really got away from it because I felt horrible. Like I was like, it's so expensive. Like I bought a home this year, but I wouldn't have been able to do so if I didn't buy my first home and have, the pivot in the market or the shift allowed my home to increase in value exponentially before 2018 to now, to where I had enough equity to purchase the home I'm in now in a nice North Shore area. But let me tell you something. I afforded this home, but it's expensive. Like I'm working 3 jobs and that's not to brag. That's just like to show you what it takes to make it here. And so I stopped making those like home videos because I'm like, I don't want to stress people out or just give this false perception that anybody can buy a home and you should do it and make people feel bad. So I'm really making a pivot to show like more information, show you like, is it hard? Yes, of course it's hard. But guess what? Anything worth doing is hard. If something was easy and was beneficial, it doesn't exist, honestly. I don't even know how I give the example. If something's easy and beneficial, it usually doesn't go hand in hand, at least with the impact of owning a home. Like owning a home is an amazing thing. You have your own asset. Is it expensive? Of course. Like, could you rent and not have to worry about things? Yeah, of course you could. Like that might be something that you would rather do, and I'm totally for that. Like, no problem at all. You rent, that might be for you. And I have a friend right now that did that. He's not in a place to buy a home. He's renting, and it's something him and his family are looking forward to have their own space. And as a realtor, did I go up to him and be like, no, man, you got to buy a home? But no, I'm not going to do that because, one, that's not honest. For his situation, renting is the right move. And that's what I got into real estate for, is not only to just grow myself and use my time wisely to better myself and future family one day, but I saw something. My realtor was good, and I work with him now, but I wanted to do something in a way where you bring honesty and transparency back. Like, you need somebody to tell you, hey, this is too much money for you, or this is expensive. I know you can afford this on paper, but I really need you to look and see if this number is something you can financially handle. And that's what people need. Like, they need someone to be like, look, have you budgeted? Maybe you got a sum of money, maybe you got this, but are you really prepared to take on a home? Because the mortgage is one number, right? You got oil, you got electricity, and you got stuff that literally goes wrong all the time. Like, the septic tank backs up, a pipe freezes, a sprinkler system. And don't even get me started. I bought this home, and I'm not kidding you, within 2 months, I had to replace the electrical panel, the whole entire main line up to the electric, and the entire sprinkler system blew. I was like, so we went into this thing like, we're good. We got a little chunk of change saved. We bought the house. We're great. My wife's all excited. Oh, I can't believe we did this. This deal seems good to be true. Guess what? It was. Like, the money was gone within like a few minutes. It was gone. Like, and then we're like, oh my God, the mortgage is due. Because you get like, usually like 60 days, 30 days where you don't have to pay your mortgage when you buy a home. And it hit hard. I was like, whoa, like, this payment is crazy. And thank God that I decided to pursue something else. And it must have been something in my brain that was like, listen, Seth, we're going to need a little more income to keep afloat and be able to keep our lifestyle. So once we made that change, it's been a grind, but I enjoy it. And I highly suggest that you find something that you're truly passionate about, your pull, or just something that's going to make you grow. I know we got off on a tangent about buying a home and things like that. But again, my life's in like 3 different places and my mind's in 3 different places. But no matter what, no matter where you are, what job you have, the honest truth is you got to find your reason why, right? Why are you doing this? Why are you working so hard? Why do you get up in the morning? And once you find that, I feel like challenges become a little bit easier to look at, right? Because when you have that drive or that passion to do something and you have an outcome in your mind, you feel unstoppable. Like, I know in my head, like, when I get into this real estate, I was like, I am going to create financial freedom for my wife and I. And I'm also going to help families at the same time because I know how stressful this can be. But those 2 goals intertwined all have one thing, and it's fulfillment of purpose, right? I don't want my wife to ever feel like we can't pay the bills or we can't do something because we don't have the financial means to do so. And I know that's a big thing for everybody wants that. And it's like, how do we get to that point? I'm still figuring that out. Obviously, having 3 jobs isn't like going to work long term, but I'm just trying to grow every day, read more books, which is hard for me. I really don't enjoy reading. That's why I find these smaller books like Manifestation of Creation. I have another one that's like How to Talk to People. It's like a little smaller book. I enjoy those, like, and I take little chunks. And I suggest that for people that don't enjoy reading, because it's just difficult to like pick up a book, especially when you're busy. Like, I know people out there have kids, they have jobs, 2 jobs, 3 jobs. They're like, Seth, what am I going to read? Guess what? You got to drive somewhere, put an audiobook on, put a YouTube video on, and that's like a prime time. Like, some people have to drive an hour, 40 minutes. Like, there's a great way to pick up a skill or get yourself mentally prepared. You have those moments where you could be learning and gaining skills. And I think that's something that I stopped. I just got into the motion. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to work. I'm going to get a paycheck. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do this. And I stopped acquiring new skills and I stopped acquiring growth. And once you do that, I feel like you become a manager. You're just managing life and it's not enjoying. You don't enjoy it. You're just like, I don't even know what I'm doing today. I'm like, that's when you bump into that, 2 days till Friday, 3 days till Friday, whatever it is. And I don't want to be that person. I want to be like, it's Monday. Like this week is going to be amazing. And this is why, because I have this goal, this outcome. Every day is a new day. Yesterday is dead. Tomorrow's not born. Today is a new day. And I stole that quote from, I forget, it's just this monk guy. I love his podcast. I'll have to find his name. But it's such a good, like deep post, right? Because today is today. Be present, be alive. Yesterday's dead. We can't go back there, right? And tomorrow's not born yet. But you know what? Whatever we do today is going to set us up for tomorrow, right? That is just like lights a fire in your belly, because if you're more present today in doing everything you can, scheduling, preparing, growing, tomorrow it's going to be even better, right? Because each day we're getting better and better and better. And it doesn't have to be something huge. That's another thing, right? You can do the littlest step each day. That's still growing, right? Sometimes I think people think that, and I'm guilty of this myself, if I'm not doing big, large, huge leaps in time or in success or in progress, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to. And that's not true, right? It's not true. You can start out small. That's why that book, Make Your Bed, it's on my list to read. There's a reason. Little steps each day progress you farther and farther in life. And that's something I'm going to do. Like, I'm reading more in the morning. And you know what? I have to say this. I have to put my phone down. As I'm doing more of these creations, these videos, I'm getting obsessed with my phone, and it's bad. But I'm also trying to turn my phone into a tool. And what I mean by that is, like, on Instagram, TikTok, things like that, I've started to change my algorithms. I started watching more mindfulness, more growth, more inner peace. I'm watching people that have purpose behind their, thoughts. And when they speak, they're speaking in terms of progress, a goal, instead of just garbage, right? Like viral videos, just junk. Like, basically, I call it like junk food for your brain. Like, every once in a while is fine. It's just like when you're eating. But you need that sustenance, that vitamin-rich thoughts and language and purposeful content. And if you start to change that on your phone, it can be helpful. But still, for myself, I find myself on the phone all the time. So I'm trying to read more books, take advantage of my mornings. I get up earlier, and I'm excited to see what progress can come. But that's it for today. I know it was a lot. It was all over the place. I really was just excited to test my mic out because I feel like legitimate. But if you like this stuff, comment, put a question for discussions. Like, this really is just like an open format for everyday people, right? Like, put your frustrations, something you're working on, or something you've read that you found helpful. And my goal is to just build a community of young men and women looking to make goals and life changes in a way that is, achievable. This isn't here to be like, in 30 days, we're going to be millionaires. No. In 30 days, we're going to be better, right? And that doesn't mean comparing ourselves to other people. That means comparing you to you. In 30 days, I'm going to be so much better. I'm going to make this much progress. Old me is going to be like, wow, I want to be that guy in 30 days. And that's the goal here. We are growing with every conversation. And that's it. Where conversations grows. Look forward to the next one.